Brandon, hey, congratulations for I'm Totally Fine.
Thank you.
So tell us what initially drew you to this project like this?
The concept sort of was birthed out of the death of 2020. At the beginning of COVID, I was really grappling with my own anxieties and control issues. You know, life is so uncertain as it always is. And in COVID time, at the beginning, it felt extremely uncertain. And that didn't bode well for me because I wanted to make sense of the senseless. And once I started looking inwards and realizing that once I sort of let go of that control, life became a lot easier to deal with all this uncertainty. And wanting to explore that in some sort of art form, I started thinking of this absurdist device of exploring that concept through the death of a friend, something you'd want to control, you'd want to, change that outcome. And then what if you had a second chance to have an opportunity with that person, and what would that look like? And that's when I approached writer Alisha Ketry, very talented writer who I've worked with for years. I've actually known since film school back in Chicago. And we started breaking out the idea. And at the same time, I started talking to a buddy, Kyle Newacheck, and pitched him that idea, and he was in. So the genesis was really the death of 2020 and the acceptance that we can only control so much, and you got to appreciate what you have while it's in front of you.
Well, thank goodness no one really died or got visited by an alien then. Is what
Yeah, no aliens, I mean, everyone who worked on this film, we've all obviously have experienced death and grief, and really looking at it from that perspective, the death of 2020, this whole year, I'm sure we all had plans, and then it was just, they were gone. And I think that goes for a lot of things in life. You have plans with your friends and your family, but all that can be taken away at any moment. So you have to really appreciate the time that you have and be present.
Now, how did you want to approach a film like this, trying to find comedy in tragedy?
Yeah, I always try to look at life through the prism of these absurdist device. It's sort of my way of coping at it. Like, how can I laugh at these things that I'm genuinely terrified or processing? And when thinking about, sort of this experience we were all going through, it felt otherworldly. It felt unreal. So I was like, maybe it's an alien, an alien who comes down to Earth and takes the form of this person's best friend, and this person who doesn't want to accept that their friend passed away, because the Vanessa character is a control freak. She is super calculated. And what does it look like when her whole life plan of starting this business with her best friend is pulled out from under her?
So tell me, because you mentioned 2020 multiple times, was this production during the pandemic, or was this kind of like after everything started to open?
No, we shot this in December of 2020.
Oh, wow. So literally there was an isolation feeling.
In extreme. We rented a bunch of homes in Temecula where we shot and lived and made this film in a bubble where we were getting tested constantly. I mean, I didn't meet Jillian or Natalie in person till the day we showed up to set. We Zoomed constantly. Even writing and doing the treatment, myself, Alisha, and Kyle, we sat on Zoom every single day and broke the story. And then Alisha would go off and write and send drafts, and we'd get together on Zoom, but we all didn't meet till that experience. It was a very interesting way to all come together for the first time.
I was going to ask, and you kind of answered it, that it sounds like you got a pretty sizable house in Temecula for this production set.
Yeah, there is a company called Avant Stay. They do like luxury rental homes. And we were, when we were looking at places, we were like, we need somewhere that's both production friendly, but also makes sense for the story. For Vanessa and Jennifer, this house was rented for their friends and family because they finally sold their company. This was their life's work. So we wanted something that reflected that, but also benefited us production wise.
Production wise, how careful were you to wreck and not wreck that house?
Extremely careful. I know some of those sequences, you're like, what was going on and how did that look? Great production designer, Justin McLean, visually trashed that house, but in an eloquent way to keep it all safe and clean at the end of the day. You can go stay there now. You can go on Avant Stay, look up Temecula. You can go stay at that house now.
I I mean, it's an impressive house, especially for any movie production. I mean, I do have to say.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, mainly you have the two actresses, Jillian Bell and Natalie Morales. How did you want Jillian to approach her character? Because she's naturally funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jillian really responded to the script and to the character Vanessa. Jillian's experienced her own loss in life. Her and I share a lot of commonalities in the way that we deal with our anxiety and stress. And she really put all that vulnerability into the character and was willing to go there with the character and explore sort of in this heightened, absurd situation, what we look like as reactive humans when dealing with grief. And now in this otherworldly sense with, your dead best friend essentially reappearing in front of your face as you're going through the process.
And what about for Natalie? I mean, after all, she has to. I want to say, in a sense, she played a dual role in
yes.
This.
Yeah, she plays both Jennifer and then the extraterrestrial Jennifer. And the extraterrestrial Jennifer is almost two characters in itself. When she first approaches to Earth, she doesn't, she is under the notion that emotions are something that do not affect her species. And she's also meeting a human for the first time and picking up on emotive response and nuances from Vanessa. And as the film goes on, the emotions inside of her begin to awaken, and she starts to take on these human attributes that otherwise she never thought were possible or even fully understood.
So for Natalie's performance as an alien, you wanted her to be a little bit more straight and narrow, and then start to evolve as the story progresses.
Exactly. Her and Natalie and I talked about that a lot, of what she was going to be picking up. We looked at the script almost as like a map, and we looked at sort of her trajectory of, this is when she's picking up things from Vanessa. This is when she's confused. This is when she's starting to feel emotion and really see her sort of blossom.
Now, I understand there's some personal Easter eggs in the film like this, for example, Papa Roach was a personal Easter egg.
Yeah, Papa Roach is I am 36 years old, and I am a child of the 90s, and Papa Roach was a band that I still love and very much loved back in the day. And I saw in concert in the 8th grade with my friends at the Metro in Chicago, and we were lucky enough to meet them outside. I have an amazing photo of me and two of my best friends and the lead singer of Papa Roach in the 8th grade. And the next day we went to school and we told our buddy whose parents wouldn't let him go, and he was so bummed. It was almost like he wished we didn't tell him. We were like, we went to the Metro. My cousin Sue took us. We were in the 8th grade. We met Papa Roach. Look at us on. He was so sad. We're like, man, maybe we shouldn't have told him. Like, we were excited, and then he was just like completely deflated. So yeah, the Papa Roach thing's super close to my heart as both a fan of the band and also a music lover and a music video director. I was so thankful that they were willing to be a part of our film.
Tell me, how does as a music video director translate into a indie film, something like this?
I look up to, guys like Spike Jonze and even the Daniels, all these incredible music video directors who were storytellers in their music videos and then translate it to the big screen. It definitely informed a lot of the production side of things, some of the little tricks that I have in my back pocket from years of making a big music video crammed into a day or half of a day or of a quarter of a day, depending on talent. And then also just from a rhythmic and pacing sense, coming from music videos, I'm always approaching things very musically and listening to the song constantly, that while working on this and shot listening, we were listening to music to sort of guide the whole story.
I mean, you did technically you did incorporate plenty of music into a film like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that is something for yourself.
Yeah, we definitely, we brought on an incredible composer, Danny Weber. We talked about the music a lot, and we wanted it to be something that accompanied the film rather than set on top of it like a music video, except for obviously the Papa Roach part, which is a deep storyline. But then I was so excited to be able to go there and have this music video moment within the film. And then there's also fun Easter eggs in there, like the first music video I ever officially made was for a group called Future Cop, and I put one of their songs in the film. Another longtime collaborator of mine is this comedian John LeJoie, who also has a serious project called Wolfie's Just Fine, and one of the songs for a music video we did together is in the film.
Wow, that is terrific. And what do you enjoy about doing an indie project like this? I imagine you love this collaboration among peers.
The word collaboration is exactly why I love it so much. This movie was made in the most collaborative sense. It was, with Alisha, Kyle, Jillian, and Natalie. Every day at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, we talked about the script and what we learned, because we shot this in December of 2020. We wrote it, or Alisha started writing it in July of 2020. So we didn't have the year and a half or 2 years of development. So we were learning a lot within the performances each and every day, and it was a real collaboration. And then same thing, the crew is the same crew that I work with on all my music videos. So we didn't have a ton of time or all the giant resources. So we really came together, and everyone put themselves in this movie. Like every single person who worked on it is reflected in the film, and it was a true collaboration in every sense of the word.
And one last thing about the film, I want to no spoilers, of course, but I want to get a sense of what you are hoping that the audience would take away with the ending like that.
I hope it's a cathartic and relatable experience of what we go through as people and through life, that there's these ups and downs, and it's okay to feel those ups and downs and accept the ups and accept the downs.
Absolutely. You said it well. And Brandon, one more thing before I let you go. I've seen the series Flatbush on Misdemeanors.
Oh,
it is bonkers. I don't know how you pulled that off.
Thank you.
That story and direction. I mean, it's like coming at you at high speed. I just wanted to tell you that.
Well, thank you so much. That is a credit to Kevin and Dan, those two guys, and then the showrunners and producers on that project. That I was so lucky to be a part of that second season of that show. That was like the coolest call I could ever get, because I was such a fan of season 1, and have the opportunity to come in and work on season 2 was awesome. I'm so glad you were a fan of it. It's also, that's the cool thing about that show, is the people who dig it really dig it. You know what I mean? You don't have a fan who's kind of like, it's all right. It's either you haven't seen it or you really like it.
And I have to admire, because it's one of those things where you just accidentally come across, and then you just have to watch it all for some unknown reason.
Yes, and that again goes to Dan and Kevin, and they're like phenomenal, like mumblecore meets, I don't even know what, storytelling, where you're just like slowly going with them through these weird experiences. It's great. Yeah, I loved it. I thought the second season was great.
I think it's terrific too, and you done a terrific job. So Brandon, thank you very much for speaking to us about I'm Totally Fine, and I'm glad nobody got hurt in real life for this.
Nobody got hurt in real life. The whole world was hurting. And, the thing though is I had friends who lost family members. I had friends, all of us did. And I think it was that just overwhelming of no control. Normally it's like, your dad's going to get surgery, the process to it, and the outcome's going to be 1 or 2. Everything was so unexpected. And it was in a time when we didn't know any of the science that's what birthed this whole thing.
Most excellent. Appreciate this conversation. Hopefully we do this
same.
again. Thank you.
Thank you.